Hello, dear students. How are you? Hope your preparations are going on in full swing for CMAT examination 2024. And I'm here to help you with yet some more questions on reading comprehension. My dear students, my name is Rita Gurbani, and I am your VARC trainer from SuperGrads by Top Rankers. So, as I already said, you must have started preparing well, but don't panic, dear students. There are 2 more months to go, and with your renewed zeal and enthusiasm, and of course, with your concentrated efforts, you will be able to ace this exam because this exam is not very difficult. Yes, you have heard it right. CMAT exam is not difficult, but yes, the strategy which you adopt is going to make all the difference. So be prepared, gear up, pull up your socks, and start practicing. And my dear students, I would like you to pay attention on all the topics, all the subjects which are covered under this exam. It's not only related to my subject, it's related to other subjects as well. And you know the pattern, 20 questions from every topic, from every subject, overall 100 questions, and the time is enough. 3 hours is enough for a student like you to have a good score in CMAT exam. So let's start. Be ready. So, as you know, the syllabus comprises of reading comprehension and grammar and other items, and there is a lot of vocabulary also. The questions can be related to fill in the blanks, can be multiple choice answers, and it can be related to one word substitution. Then you have synonyms, antonyms, then you have idioms and phrases, then you have tenses, verbs, active voice, passive voice. You can have para jumbles also coming to the longer type of questions, and foreign language words are also there. So by and by, you will be able to have a good command, a good mastery. Unless you know the road, you are not able to reach a particular place. So you have to know your roadmap, and the roadmap, the syllabus is nothing but the roadmap, dear students. So be ready. Once again, I'm stressing, be ready means be alert and make a systematic approach towards the attainment of your goal. Devote regular hours of study every day. Okay, and don't forget to take up any subject and make a combination of the subjects. For example, in one day, don't pay attention only to one subject. If you're doing some part of quants, take up some English part also. If you're doing innovation, then take up the general awareness also, so on and so forth. This will give you a good grip on all the topics, and you will not miss out on a single question. So here we go with the reading comprehension today. I have selected a few passages from the previous year questions, question papers. Let's see how we are able to dwell upon them. So the first passage I would like you, dear students, to read. I give you 3 minutes time to read the passage. The passages can be shorter, the passages can be longer. So depending on the length, the questions might be asked. Okay, and you have to just be a little attentive. That's all, nothing else. Okay, so your concentration, your alertness, your involvement, and your active reading are going to make you rock. Okay, dear students, you're going to rock. So I step aside, you read this passage, and then I'll come back to you and we'll read it both together. Let me show you the questions. These are the questions. So once again, we go back. See, looking at the questions is always a good idea, dear students, because it helps you focus on the content, on the paragraph, on the topic from where the subtopic, I mean to say, from where the question has been asked. So if you have an idea about the question, you are more focused. There's nothing wrong at looking at the question beforehand. So now let's have the passage being read in a paced manner. Read along with me. Human beings are connected at the level of feeling and emotion in such a degree that there is practically a subterranean network of the psyche, subterranean related to the earth, below the level of the earth, subterranean network of the psyche. Psyche is the soul or the spirit in which some encounters are damaging, some nourishing. Encounter here means a chance meeting. Encounter here means meeting. Any interaction that we have with the fellow beings. Encounters are damaging, some nourishing. So you can understand that this damaging is completely opposite to nourishing. Whereas damaging means to give harm, to harm something. Nourishing means to support it. Nourishment is to provide enrichment. Okay. So these two different ideas have been conveyed. This emotional exchange is typically at a subtle, almost imperceptible level. What is subtle? Subtle is that which cannot be clearly seen. It is hidden. It is there in smaller measures, but it is not very clearly seen. So it is called subtle. The pronunciation is here the b part is silent. You don't have to say subtle. You have to speak subtle. Subtle and imperceptible. Imperceptible means that which you cannot actually see at a micro level, right? Imperceptible level. The way a colleague says thank you can leave one feeling ignored. Look at the different feelings. The way a colleague says thank you leaves one feeling ignored, resented, or genuinely welcomed and appreciated. So look at this word resented. Resented means to be angry, to be left with anger, unhappiness, genuinely welcomed and appreciated. So see the different kinds of feelings which a person experiences when somebody says thank you to him. A small phrase as thank you can leave different emotions inside the person's psyche or the soul. We catch feelings from one another as though they were some kind of social virus. See, virus. A virus gives rise to diseases, and if we catch a virus, then the diseases spread. So, this feeling, the feeling which we have caught from a fellow being, acts as a social virus. Every space is full of emotional signals, and every time people connect, they transmit and receive those signals. You also call it vibes in common language. When you meet somebody, you feel that good vibes are coming, and the opposite can also happen. These emotional encounters have an effect on all the people in that particular circle. Those who are socially skillful can control these emotional messages. So, the people who are skillful are able to control these messages. A civil and polite society is able to regulate and control these emotional relationships in less damaging ways. So, a society which is civil, which is polite, which considers, which is sensible, which understands the needs of the others, is able to handle and is able to leave a good impression, a good taste, I must say. The emotional quotient, EQ. Dear students, you might have heard about it. Emotional quotient, okay, of a society is the sum total of the emotional intelligence of its citizens. When we compliment others for being considerate, what is to compliment? Compliment is to give a प्रेजफुल कमेंट है ना. हम किसी को कॉम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं, हम कहते हैं आप कितने इंटेलिजेंट हैं, आप कितने स्मार्ट हैं, आपका ड्रेस सेंस बहुत अच्छा है. दीज आर द कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स. यू आर सच ए गुड कुक. दीज आर द compliments. So when we compliment others, compliment is to give a good comment, praiseworthy comment, है ना, a comment which shows praise, which shows appreciation. For being considerate, we are actually acknowledging their emotional intelligence. Actually, when we find somebody that he or she is considerate, what have we thought about it? What is the idea that we have got? The idea that we have got is that they are emotionally intelligent. They know how to deal with others. They know how to treat others. Okay. For example, small courtesies. I do not want to digress from the passage, but this idea comes to my mind, which is not digression actually, that there are people who will leave the door opened for you or for an elderly person. They will say please, they'll say thank you, and then you understand that they are quite considerate. And it can happen in the road, on the roadside, in the marketplace, inside the bus, inside the train, inside the metro. It can happen. There are people who are considerate. So when you are actually thanking them, what happens? You understand that they are emotionally intelligent, and that leaves a good taste in your mouth. Okay. The company of such people is a relaxing experience. The company of such people is a relaxing experience. So the people who know how to behave themselves, how to give good understanding, for others, how to be sensible, how to be sensitive to the needs of others, they are actually, a good experience in ourselves. You feel happy sitting in their company, and they are a valuable and enriching presence in any society. Everybody likes to be in their company. Okay, they have something or the other good to speak to others. They have something or the other feeling to make the other person feel desired, appreciated, right? So they understand what are the basic necessities of human psyche, and then we feel happy in their company. Whether we like it or not, we are all interdependent. Interdependent. What is interdependent? We depend on each other. We depend on each other in the society in terms of our feelings and emotions, and our emotional intelligence forms the framework of the society. So it is our emotional intelligence which actually is the base, which actually is the fundamental, idea, the social fabric of the society, or you can say the social glue of the society. So, what is the passage talking about? If we summarize, the passage is talking about those people who have the quality of making others feel comfortable, giving consideration to others, being empathetic and sympathetic to them. They are actually emotionally intelligent, and other people, other common people, love their company. Okay, so in a nutshell, this is the passage. Okay, now come to the questions. I have already shown you the questions, and we have done the passage in detail also. Let's see if we are able to understand what should be the answer. The first question, the author feels that when we meet people, some meetings can be happy. Yes, of course, some meetings can be happy. But is it the complete truth of the passage? Wait. Enriching, the second is enriching. Enriching means to give you, to make you feel empowered, to make you feel enriched. Okay, that you have got something, you have gained from them. Troublesome? No, not at all. No, we don't feel troublesome in the company of those people who are emotionally intelligent. So this is not the answer. Sad. No, we don't feel sad after getting to interact with such people. The passage talks about the emotionally intelligent people who know how to give importance to the others and to make them feel happy. Emotionally intelligent people. We are talking about emotionally intelligent people who give the chance to others to feel contented, to feel praised, to feel comfortable about their own lives. So, good, of course, troublesome will not be the answer, sad will not be the answer, happy can be the answer, but the better option will be enriching. So, the answer is enriching. Option B is the correct answer. Let's move to question number 2. The company of what kind of people is relaxing? Just now we had done, I'll take you back to the passage and you will be able to tell me the answer. This was the passage. See, last but third, I'm reading this line. See, the company of such people is a relaxing experience, right? So we have got the answer. The company of what kind of people is relaxing? Emotional people? Considerate people, yes, emotional to some extent, but it should not be in the negative direction. Okay, excess of any emotion is bad. So, not to be totally or fully emotional or excessively emotional, no, that the passage is not talking about. So, considerate people, yes, of course, they are considerate. The people who are considerate of others' feelings. Emotionally intelligent people, emotionally calm people. We have nothing to do with emotional people or emotionally calm people. The passage is focusing on emotionally intelligent people. They know how and where to behave in what particular way. Okay, they know. So the answer is C. Option C is the answer. The company of which people is relaxing? The company of emotionally intelligent people is relaxing because they know how to behave with others and how to give enough consideration to others. Now, even the people who are considerate is also partially correct, but we have a better option. The option emotionally intelligent people is a better choice because such people only will be considerate about the feelings of the others. So the correct answer, dear students, is option C. I hope we are clear so far. So the crux of the matter is if we read the passage attentively, logically, if we are able to make connections, then we are also able to reach the right answer. Now let's move to passage number 2. I give you time to read and then I'll come back again and then together we will read. Okay, I'll show you the questions also quickly. You can view the questions also so that you have an idea what is being asked and where you have to focus. So this passage comprises 3 questions, dear students. Coming back to the passage, now let's read the passage together with proper pauses and meanings clearly, right? The human body is nothing but a set of chemical reactions in some form or the other. So the topic sentence states that the human body is a set of chemical reactions in some form of or the other. The religious scriptures believe that man was made out of the image. What are religious scriptures? Religious scriptures are your, for example, the Bible, Quran, the Gita. These are the religious scriptures. Quran, okay, believe that man was made out of the image of the creator. Man was made out of the image of the creator of the universe. Who is the creator of the universe? God. Okay, so the passage says that it was believed that man has been carved in the image of the creator of the universe. Does this mean that oxygen was pumped into the human body and carbon dioxide pumped out to create this being? The author is asking us a question. Or maybe he wants us to take care, think on this question and come to the answer that is he's wondering that does it mean that oxygen was pumped into the human body and carbon dioxide pumped out to create this being? This being means human being. Is life just the process of oxygenation and decarbonization? Decarbonization is nothing but decarbonization. So oxygenation and decarbonization, you're inhaling and exhaling. You inhale oxygen, you take in oxygen, and you exhale, you take out carbon dioxide. So he says, is life just the process of oxygenation and decarbonization? If the human body is managed by these two processes, then we can safely believe that life came into existence due to these chemical reactions. So he himself comes to the conclusion, he asks a few questions, and the conclusion that the author gives us is that these two processes, or you can say the chemical reactions, have given rise to the life of the human being. The highly complex chemical compounds present in the human body are not evident in lower animals or plants. So he makes a comparison that the standard or the intensity or the level of these chemical compounds is not found in the lower plants or animals. These substances were born because of the synthesis of other smaller molecules. Pay attention to this word. A question has been asked on this word. These substances were born because of the synthesis of other smaller molecules, right? Coming to the second paragraph now, a large number of recognized chemicals has been observed and proved to be involved in the transmission of impulses. Impulses are the sudden feelings. What are impulses? These are the sudden feelings or urge feelings from one tissue or cell to another. Now we know that the human body is made up of cells and tissues. Some examples of such chemicals are adrenaline, dopamine, acetylo acetylcholine, endorphins, and encephalin. These are the names of some chemicals. The increase or decrease of any one of these chemicals, the increase or decrease, either the chemical increases or decreases, interferes with the normal functioning of cells and tissues. So if this is disturbed, you have heard about chemical locha? Yes, this thought comes to my mind. So if this is disturbed, then this creates a disease in the body. So the balance is required. If anything is, less or more, then what happens? An imbalance is caused, which gives rise to the disease. This creates diseases in the body, and the restoration of their supply cures the diseases. What is to restore? To replenish, है ना? To fulfill, फिर से दे देना. That is to give again, replenish. कुछ चीज कम हो गई है तो restore, फिर से उसको store कर देना. And if you store, then what happens? If you give, so the diseases are cured. The deficiency of acetylcholine leads to Alzheimer's disease. While a decrease in dopamine, these are the different hormones you might have read, dopamine leads to Parkinson's disease. See, different diseases, and that too very dangerous diseases, are caused by the increase or decrease of these chemicals inside the body. Okay, and this and its increase. The increase of dopamine causes schizophrenia, very dangerous disease, a mental disorder. You had a question on this? You have a question on this? We'll come to this slide again. So please relate the ideas, dear students, as I told you. Endorphins and encephalin. Endorphins and encephalin work like a drug. Like a drug. Drug is medicine to produce sensations like pleasure and reduce pain. So the sensations of pain, which is to be reduced, which is to be decreased, and the sensation of pleasure, which is to be increased, is caused by these drugs. In depressed persons, you might have heard people who are undergoing depression. So what happens? Lower levels of serotonin and adrenaline are observed. So a person who is depressed, what is the chemical imbalance? That these two, serotonin and adrenaline, are reduced. Okay. Exercise and meditation help release endorphins in order to produce a scene of calmness and pleasure. So what is being suggested? It is advised that such a person should undergo exercise, especially physical exercise. Okay. So what happens then? He becomes calm. Why? Exercise and meditation. He becomes calmed because the chemicals are again balanced. As for love, very interesting, dear students. As for love, the brain releases a chemical substance called phenylethylamine. Phenylethylamine is a chemical. So even for an emotion, a strong emotion like love, this chemical is responsible, which acts like a amphetamine to here is a gap, dear students. Amphetamine to increase mental alertness and physical energy. So this gives rise to a heightened sense of mental alertness and physical energy. People with low levels of these chemicals develop a craving for foods. What is craving? Craving means an urge, a deep desire, okay, which cannot be controlled. Desire for food such as chocolates, which are rich in such compounds, okay. So, if any person is having a lot of craving for the sweets, that means he or she is suffering from this chemical imbalance, right? We have found many people in our day-to-day life, we have been observing them who have one or the other issues which are described here. And the author attributes all this to the balance or the imbalance of the chemicals which are produced inside the body, right? So, if there is any discrepancy in that, if the balance is not maintained, then it gives rise to diseases. So the doctors, the people who are adept with these, what they do, they find out the cause and they supply, they give doses accordingly, and they suggest accordingly these exercises of physical movement and your meditation and yoga, and so that the levels they get into control. So it is all about balancing, right? So I think it makes sense. Now we can go to the questions. Which one of the words given below can be used in place of a mental disorder as used in the passage? Mental disorder, is it sickness? It is a kind of sickness, yes, correct. But is it the option? Let us explore the options, my dear students. Don't jump at any option. I know we have less time in the exam, but it makes sense to read logically, connect the ideas, and then after having read all the different options, decide the answer. Don't think, okay, ये तो मैंने पढ़ा था, हाँ ये सही होगा, ये सही होगा. नहीं. You will lose out on the important marks, and for every wrong answer there is a negative marking of 1 mark also, okay. Whereas one correct answer gives you 4 marks, one incorrect option leads you with 1 mark deleted, reduced. So don't take this danger, don't take this risk, read it carefully. Look at the other one, derangement. Derangement is to disturb, the things are all deranged, disturbed. Disease. This is a very general term. Of course, disease, but what kind of disease? That is not clear. Schizophrenia. Schizophrenia has been given. I'll take you back to the passage and you can see for yourself here. Look at this. And its increase causes schizophrenia, a mental disorder. So clearly the answer is schizophrenia. So the correct option is schizophrenia. Which one of the words given below can be used in place of mental disorder? Answer is schizophrenia. Option D is the correct answer. Next question. Which one of these words is the right synonym for synthesis as used in the passage? So synonym means same meaning. Synonym means the word which has same or similar meaning. So synthesis is to join together. Synthesis is to add together, join together. Now the words which have been given: reaction, fusion, collaboration, union. Look at the options. Reaction is clearly no. Reaction is out of focus. It does not come anywhere near the meaning even of synthesis. Come to collaboration. Collaboration and union are generally having similar meaning. They have similar meaning. But collaboration is to come together, okay? And union also is to be together. But what is the actual answer? The actual answer is fusion. Fusion is the correct answer. Synthesis. Synthesis is nothing but fusion. Now they cannot be separated. That is chemical reaction. Okay, so this has to be fusion. The correct answer is option B. Next, which one of the words given below is the right antonym for alertness as used in the passage? Antonym means the word which is opposite in meaning. Opposite. Alertness. What are the options? What could be the options of this alertness? The opposite of this. First is heedlessness. What is heedless? Heed means to take a notice, to take a care of something. है ना? Heedless is not to notice, not being careful. Then consciousness. Consciousness, look at this. This is more like synonym. Okay. Adept means adept is to be experienced in some field, to be experienced, to be an expert person. Adept is to be expert, right? And inept is the opposite of adept. Inept means having no experience or having no expertise, no, not having any knowledge, no expertise. So clearly the answer is heedlessness. The first option, option A, is the correct answer, dear students. Which one of the words given below is the right antonym for alertness as used in the passage? The answer is heedlessness is the right antonym or the opposite word. Now let's take the passage number 3. So again, I would step out for a few moments and then you read it and at your own pace, and then together we shall read and come to the options. I would even like to show you the options, the questions which have been asked. Look at the questions which have been asked. This is the first question. This is the second question. This is the third question. So coming back to the passage, let's read the passage together. I once made a statement in a room full of college students. So you see that the passage starts in a narrative tone. The author is describing something, and he has started with his own descriptions, his own narration. The passage is in the narrative style. I once made a statement in a room full of college students that the most important thing a young person could acquire in college might be a sense of her own limitations. He seems to be a person of a higher rank, maybe a professor, and he is talking about the young people that what they acquire in the college might be a sense of our own limitations. What are limitations? Limitations means which makes us limited. Something, which does not give us the freedom. That is our limitation. I realized when I said it that it was not a very fashionable thing to say. Then he makes this realization that it was not the correct thing to say at that time. Why? Let us proceed. Popular books on how to therapy. Therapy means medication. Therapy means remedy for any illness. Therapy is treatment. There are self-help books coming up these days, dear students. So, popular books on how to therapy stress the glorious potential of every human being. Glorious potential. Glorious means full of hope. Glorious means full of hope. Potential means talent. What is potential? Potential is talent. What he or she is capable of doing or achieving. Okay? So I realized when I said it that it was not a very fashionable thing to say. Popular books on how to therapy stress the glorious potential of every human being and urge us to accept ourselves. Urge us, they force us they force us to accept ourselves finally as being only a little lower than the angels. Angels are those celestial beings whom we look up to. है ना? So human beings are lesser than angels. This is what is being understood. I heartily approve of any celebration. Heartily means happily. I approve, I like the celebration of human potential, but I believe that we must acknowledge our potential for limitless evil as well. Acknowledge is to understand that yes, just as a human being can rise higher, similarly, a human being can stoop low also. He can be very good and he can be evil also. There are, two sides of the coin. We must understand that we can do in the way of evil before we can even pretend to be good. This is the beginning of morality. Where does the morality begin? Where does the morality begin? Evil as well as good. We have to focus on the evil, we have to focus on the good, and then only the morality will begin. The psychological or spiritual or a religious tradition, the mythical basis that makes morality possible. One of the most moral book of the past century is Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. This is a very popular book on psychology because Conrad faces the problem of evil in people. He tells us that we must recognize in ourselves the ability to put the head of our enemy on stick and dance around the fire with it. Imagine, see, there is a lot of visualization here. Whenever there is a quote or a quotation, the author is informing us about somebody else that is to be, read with alertness and understanding. Please, dear students, these are not the personal views of the author, but he wants us probably to compare, probably to contrast. So we should pay attention to such quotations when they appear inside any passage. So I repeat, what does the author say? He says that Joseph Conrad had written a book called Heart of Darkness because he wants us to understand that for us, for any common person, their enemies, this is of course a very interesting, imagination, visualization that I have the head of my enemy and I'm dancing with it. What is the meaning? That I'm evil. I means any human being. So this is the crux of the thought which is being pointed out by the author. The book has been written by Joseph Conrad, and he says that we should understand that we want our enemy's head to be put on the stick around the fire and we dance around the fire. And only when we recognize that can we even begin to deal with any moral question at all. Students who have been nourished on pop psychology, nourished means they have been fed. They have been fed, they have been given these ideas. What is pop psychology? By pop psychology means, for example, this is a modern day word which means kind of psychology which is not actually clinical, which doesn't have any empirical, basis, any formula. Some examples are be positive, look at the positive side of things, decode the body language, etc., etc., which may not always be correct. Okay, so this is pop psychology, which doesn't have an everlasting value. Like pop psychology means it doesn't have an everlasting value. You can consider it like the ideas which are being given to us by modern day writers on psychology. They have not studied psychology. They don't have the in-depth knowledge of psychology, but it is like a fad, it is like a fashion to talk about these things. So the youngsters who have been fed on pop psychology and told I am okay have some trouble dealing with Conrad. So such people, such young generation people will not be able to accept the ideas of Joseph Conrad, and some of them regard him as perverse. What is perverse? The one who is evil. He has very evil kind of mindset. Perverse. So they will not have any ideas of synchronization or harmony with Joseph Conrad because they consider him to be a pervert who is evil in mind. Coming to the next paragraph, I am amazed at the number of educated people who believe that we are somehow better, more moral than our ancestors were. Ancestors, the people, the generations who came before us. Purvaj. In Hindi, there is a word, Purvaj. है ना? Ancestors are the people from earlier or previous generations. हमारे पूर्वज. So he says that somehow we believe that we are somehow better, more moral than our ancestors were. I have seen otherwise intelligent people grow red in the face, वो शर्मा जाते हैं, है ना? They become embarrassed at the suggestion that human beings are not better now, less cruel, more considerate, less animalistic, more humane than they were when Nero ruled Rome, or when the pharaohs ruled Egypt, or when the druids at Stonehenge readied their sacrifices. So let's break this up. There are certain examples given, dear students. Don't be bothered, don't be boggled, don't be entrapped by the examples here. The certain names which have been given here are not connected with our passage actually, but the illustrations have been given. So please keep this in mind that when any such illustrations are given, you need not unnecessarily entangle, associate yourselves with these, right? So try and keep your thought process out of these trappings. But we have to read. But we still have to read. So I read it like this. Okay, I'll tell you the meanings of these words first. Okay, so the pharaohs, they ruled Egypt. The kings who ruled Egypt were called pharaohs. The druids who lived at Stonehenge. The druids were the people who were the worshippers of evil. They were the worshippers of the devil and the Satan. So against Christianity, you can understand. Okay. And then Nero. Nero was the ruler of Rome. So these are the various examples which are given of the old age times, ancient times, prehistoric times, you can say. So now coming back to our sentence, I have seen otherwise intelligent people grow red in the face at the suggestion that human beings are not better now. If they are better, if anybody is better, that means what qualities he should have? He should have more of consideration, less of cruelty. He should be less animalistic. Animalistic means having the behavior of an animal, okay? Not having empathy and sympathy or kindness. More humane than they were when this, right? In all these means in the olden times, right? In one way, we are more likely to have become dull to our potential for evil. Potential for evil? Inside every human being, there are two entities. One is the evil, the devil, and one is the angel, that is the good. Okay? The generous, the pious. And so discover it suddenly. Now, this has come in the bracket. This is additional meaning. And so discover it suddenly and with disastrous consequences. Consequence is a result. What is consequence? Consequence is the result. And what is disastrous? Disastrous is very harmful, dangerous. Dangerous result today than we were a few centuries ago. This is because we actively suppress. Suppress is to crush, suppress is to overpower or to crush the kind of self knowledge that makes intelligent moral decisions possible. Sin and guilt are such old fashioned terms that most of us are embarrassed by the very words. Embarrassed means to feel shy or to feel a little what you can call sharma jana, hai na? Embarrassed. Okay, so come back to the paragraph again. What he is trying to tell us, the author is giving his own idea that he is surprised at the number of educated people who believe that we are better than our ancestors. Hai na? The people think that we are better than our ancestors, but the author has a point of clash over here. So he says that, see, today than we were a few centuries ago. This is because, now come to the concluding point of the author. This is because we actively suppress the kind of self knowledge that makes intelligent moral decisions possible. When we take a decision intelligently, when is it possible? When we are able to weigh the pros and the cons, the good and the evil of a particular situation, of a particular outcome of the result. Okay. Sin and guilt are such old fashioned terms. Sin, हिंदी में उसको कहते हैं पाप. Guilt also means the same thing, है ना? To have a very strong feeling of wrongdoing, that I have done something wrong, so I have a feeling of guilt. Sin and guilt are such old fashioned terms that most of us are embarrassed by the very words. है ना? जैसे ही ये words आ जाते हैं, हम बहुत uncomfortable हो जाते हैं. We become embarrassed, we become shy of these words. Means we don't want to face these words. And we believe that we are better than our ancestors who were living in the past, which may not be true. The author is critical of this. Okay, so summarizing the entire passage, which has the views of the author, the views of the young people, and how they clash with the views of Joseph Conrad, and what are the author's own or personal views. So in this way, you are able to make a link of the ideas which have been floated from the start to the end, and now coming to the questions. The beginning of morality is based on, the question says, the beginning of morality is based on, first, option A strong religious and ethical sense. Religious and ethical. Ethical related to good understanding, good views, and good morals. Matlab naitikta. Okay. Then, a knowledge of the possibilities of evil as well as good. What are the possibilities? What evil can come out? What good can come out? A profound sense of tradition. Tradition, dear students, this has not been discussed in the passage, so this is outrightly wrong. An innate sense of good and evil. Now, innate sense of good and evil is there. Inside a person, there is an innate, the inbuilt. Innate means inbuilt sense of good and evil. But will it be the correct option? Let us go back to the passage. See, look at this line. We must understand what we can do in the way of evil before we can even pretend to be good. This, look at this. I heartily approve of any celebration of human potential, but I believe that we must acknowledge our potential for limitless evil as well. So it is not only related to good, it is also related to evil. So that brings us to which option, dear students? The option is B, a knowledge of the possibilities of evil as well as good. From here, the morality starts. If I take you back again, you can see from where the morality starts. Let us see. Look at the first paragraph once again. Look at this. I have read these two sentences for you, and now the outcome. This is the beginning of morality, the psychological or spiritual or in a religious tradition. So don't be entrapped by the word tradition. The tradition word has come, but it is not making sense with the option which has been given. Okay. So the good and the evil, this is the beginning of morality. So here comes the answer. Option B. You can always, justify your answer before ticking the correct answer. If you have any doubt, you please check the passage again. You please read it quickly and then you match what understanding you had already got of the passage and what does the option say in simple words. Then you will never falter. Next question. One would assume from this passage that the author probably taught, now we have to assume, we have to make an assumption. हमें ऐसा सोचना है ना, maybe, assumption means maybe, it may not be correct, but maybe, क्या पढ़ाते थे? Author probably taught music. Is there any idea in the passage that the author was from the music department or from the musical background? I don't think so. No. Music, no. Popular culture? No, he's not talking about popular culture. French? Of course not. There is no mention, okay, of the French language that he has been teaching. But yes, philosophy, because his arguments, his inferences, his assumptions are the uh, key points which are learned or which are taught in philosophy. These are philosophical considerations which the author has made use of in the passage. So definitely we can assume that all these options are completely incorrect. So we have to tick philosophy because this looks better as compared to the other options. So answer is D, philosophy. Next, the author's attitude towards popular how to therapy books. How to therapy means how to give treatment, how to do self-help books. What is the author's attitude? Could be described as critical, option A, option B, approving. What is critical? Critical is to criticize, right? Now, this criticism can be in both the directions. It can be negative. Criticism always is negative as well as positive. Next, approving. Is he approving? Is he recommending? Approve is to recommend one thing. Is he recommending? No, he is not recommending. Apathetic. Apathetic means having no feeling whatsoever. He does not have any feeling. Do you feel that he has no feeling regarding this view? That the popular therapy books, the attitude of the author we have to finalize, dear students, here. So it is not apathetic. Sympathetic, neither. It is not even sympathetic. It is not sympathetic. See, why? Because he is not sympathizing. He is not, neither is he having any apathy. Apathy means having no feeling. Apathetic means a feeling where you have neither sympathy nor negative nor positive, nothing. Okay. So these two are out of context. And approving is also incorrect because he is not approving of this, that these self-help books are good. He's not approving that yes, we should go. Rather, he tells us he is critical that you view the book, view the content properly, take a logical decision, and then come to the required answer or the solution, right? So the correct answer is option A, that is critical. So option A is the answer, which is the correct option of this question. So dear students, that brings us to the end of this session. And as I already shared with you, that a lot many sessions are on the way. They are being prepared for your help, for your support, because we at SuperGrads Top Rankers want that the student community should be supported by all means, and they should not have any doubt lurking in their minds. So, my dear students, it would do you good if you leave your feedback, your comments, and you get, a grip on all these topics which have been taught. If you have any doubt, if you need any clarification on any of the topics or any of the contents that we are serving you on this platform, do come up. We'll be very, very pleased and more than happy to answer your queries, because as I said, we do not want our students to be left alone. We are here with you in all your exams, in whatever preparations you want to make. And if you want any particular topics to be catered to be to or to be explained to you, or if you really feel that these are the topics where you are not facing I mean you are facing a lot of difficulties, where you are not familiar enough, or you don't think that you will be comfortable dealing with them, then do write to us, do comment. We'll be waiting eagerly for your feedback, and do connect. And that connection can be possible when you subscribe. You subscribe to the channel. Okay, you can like these videos if you like, and then you, of course, share these to the best possible extent so that the others are also benefited. So, my request to all of you, dear students, dear viewers, is stay connected. Okay, and always keep learning, keep growing, because you are the leaders who are going to lead us all. Yes, you are even going to lead us. So keep studying. More power to you. God bless you. All the best.